Hello everyone, and today I'm going to review the Doctor Who book, The Crook World, because I read it recently. Well, it's about a week ago now, but yeah, and I thought it would be really interesting to review because it's like a fan favorite. Like a lot of people really, really, really like the story, and well, I read it, so I want to review it to tell you what I think about it. So without further ado, let's start this video. Okay, so this is of course set in like this cartoon world thingy where everything is well like a cartoon. Um, so the Doctor, Fitz and Angie, they land in this world basically where there's this pig called Streaky Bacon who shoots the Doctor because he doesn't know what like it's gonna do to him because of course it's a cartoon world. So he thinks that the Doctor's just gonna be like, you know, turn like black for like a moment, and then he's just gonna be like, and look really confused, and then he's just gonna go back to normal because that's what happens in well cartoon basically. So that's what the pig thinks gonna happen, but of course the Doctor he gets shot and injured and stuff, and of course and then they call like an ambulance, and it doesn't really do anything. Well, it just runs around and doesn't do anything. It doesn't take them to an hospital, and it's like, why isn't he healing? It's okay, but then they get to this city where people just run around on the street, and like people just walk on top of each other, cars just drive on top of people just smash each other in the head with hammers, and yeah, and the buildings are like in a cartoon basically, like buildings are well crooks, I guess. Yeah, and but then Andrew, she's still inside the TARDIS. Well, there's this bird that really annoys her, and it ends up well. Basically, she ends in this like it like kind of throws her down like this ravine thingy, and then she's down there. But then she sees this dog thingy that falls down the ravine, and it's just flattened. It's like it turns into like a pancake. But then it just suddenly gets an it just like turns back to normal after like 5 seconds. Then it decides to fly. Well, like a thingy, like in cartoons, like this lamp thing appears on its top of its head, and it's like it gets an idea, so it uses its tail to fly above the ravine so it can, I don't know, be free or something. Um, yeah, then we get introduced to some characters. We get introduced to Angel Falls because Angie meets her. She's basically this driver, basically, and she like driving like races and stuff. Yeah, but then like she has like a nemesis or an enemy or whatever you want to call it. That's this masked weasel. I don't know how to pronounce it. Thingy. But it's really obvious that it's like actually her guardian. So that's a bit annoying. But she doesn't get it because it's a cartoon world. Yeah, and then we like Fitz and the doctor. Well, the doctor, he's of course sort of uh, shocked because he was shot, and he's like at this hospital thingy that's really weird. But yeah, but like he doesn't heal properly because of course he doesn't have two hearts because one of his hearts was removed in the Adventures of Henrietta Street. Um, so yeah, he isn't like able to heal as quickly as he normally would, but he's still able to like heal rather quickly because of course he's a Time Lord and stuff. But don't worry, he doesn't regenerate or anything like that. He just yeah, don't worry. He's fine. Don't worry. Yeah. We then get introduced to well, basically, we get introduced to this cat called Jasper, and he hates this mouse thingy, and he's really lazy, kind of ish. But there's like this really angry woman who works at the hospital hotel thingy that the doctor and Fitz are at. Uh, yeah, and there's this mouse, and he's really tired of the mouse, and he tries to well, I don't know, like he doesn't get what killing is, so he tries to hunt it, I suppose, and hurt it. But yeah, most of that later because there's actually some important stuff about him. But yeah, then and well, Angel Falls, the woman, basically the car racer driver thingy, um, she goes to the place where Fitz is, the hotel hospital thingy, and she needs him to like protect her for some reason because of course she is weak and yeah, because she is a woman basically. I know, quite sexist, but that's basically what it's like in the book. uh, because it's a cartoon world. I don't know, but it's a bit weird. I think it's quite sexist, but let's just Yeah. So she needs this guy to protect her, but then the weasel thingy turns up and tries to shoot her, but and then Fitz doesn't sacrifice his life, I suppose, for saving her, but because he's gonna die, so she gets shot. But of course, she doesn't die because she's like a cartoon creature. So she's fine. She walks around and is happy, but she's kind of mad at him because he didn't sacrifice himself ish. I don't know because of course she doesn't know she's gonna die. But then like stuff starts happening in the Crook world because basically the Doctor, Fitz, and Angie arrive, so the world is changing. Because the world works like this. You can sort of it's a bit difficult to explain, but basically the world is only like um it changes. Like if you want, let's say if you want to you walk around with closed eyes and then there's a cliff, you don't fall down the cliff because you don't know that there's a cliff. That's basically how the world works. um, yeah, and that's actually an example from the book. But yeah, then of course people start getting free will and stuff, and this guy called a buzz dog, and he thinks it's really bad because it's happened before. No one remembers. He's the only one who remembers it, but it's basically happened before. Something happened, and that's gonna be revealed later in the book. But yeah, then there's like this huge stuff starts happening, like really weird stuff, and some the bad guys, more like the villains, cartoon villains, start like forming this group, and basically the people that are in this group are the Weasel, um, and this duck thing called Dirty Duck, and this ghost, Green Ghost, because in this story, at some point, Angie meets, basically the gang from Scooby Doo, just with different names. Uh, yeah, because of copyright, so they can't be called like Scrappy or whatever they're called in the Scooby Doo. Yeah, so she meets basically the gang from Scooby Doo, just with different names, and they bust this Green Ghost, and yeah, and for some reason, like she points out that they like believe it's a ghost until like she's like you can see it's like a guy, you can see his feet and stuff, and they're like, oh no, it's a ghost and stuff. But then they bust him, and yeah, but he's one of the bad guys. And then there's this other person, can't remember the character's name, but yeah, and they're like the bad guys, and they do bad stuff, I guess. Well, they basically kidnap Fitz, and then they want some money for him, like because they like he's like they've captured him, and then if they want him to, if like the doctor and the other people of the Crook world want him to be released, they have to like give them a lot of money. But money are useless in the Crook world because it's a cartoon world. What should you use them for, really? Yeah. So that's basically most of the part. Then there's this cat called Jasper. I've talked about him earlier. Yeah, he kills this mouse because the rules of the Crook world are changing. They're getting like free will. It's becoming a normal world. So he kills this mouse without like yeah. He like there's like a long scene where he tries to smack him in the head with a hammer. Nothing happens. He tries to drown him, but nothing happens. Like all that. But then he just bites off his head because he wants him to die, I guess, but he doesn't really know what death is because, they know what the word means, and Streaky Bacon, the pig from earlier, he knows what it is, but like he knows what it means, but he doesn't like think about it. So yeah, um, and then um, there's like this thing where they realize that it's changing basically, and then the bad guys, they they have this thing they just imagined out of the blue, basically, and that's their base. And they catch up Fitz, and they want to. He's their thingy. But yeah, then the doctor frees him by being smart. So he's like, yeah, you can have the money and stuff. But he instead he for some reason he creates like this custard pie gun. Very weird. And then he's like, let Fitz go. I'll shoot custard in your head. That's very silly, but that basically happens. And then they escape and they're happy. Then Fitz falls in love with Angel Falls. Well, that happened a bit earlier, but yeah. So they're basically a couple now. And then they're really tired of the bad guys, and they try to blow up the entire Crook world. Well, the city, the main city, at least like the city where it's Sandy Town, where it's like said. Yeah, and then it stuff happens. Then there's this epic twist. I'm not gonna reveal because it's well very important for the story. Okay, basically, spoiler alert. The reason why this has happened before is because there was this girl who crashed into the Crook world like ages ago, and she like created all this basically. Yeah, I haven't spoiled too much. Well, I've kind of spoiled the twist, but yeah, um, that's sort of what happens. Of course, it ends up with the Weasel. He gets good and stuff, and they all live happily ever after. But then, of course, like they have a really, really good story. That's well, so far almost a 10 out of 10, like 9.5. But then, of course, I mean, why not? The uh, mouse that died earlier gets resurrected because magic, dude. And the cat, instead of like being sentenced to like prison, I think no, he gets sentenced to being smashed in the head with a stick by the mouse. And Streaky Bacon is now the new mayor of Sandtown. Yeah. So negatives. Well, I have that huge negative. It's really really annoying, like the ending with like the mouse getting resurrected, and that is a huge negative. Uh, and then I think it's a bit sexist with Angel Falls, but there's like this sort of subplot about her and Fitz, so I guess it's fine ish. Yeah, but it's still a bit like sexist. Yeah. So that's my negatives. Positives. Well, the story is really good and really unique actually, because like it's a cartoon world. Um, yeah, and it's just a really enjoyable story with great characters, great everything really. Just like the perfect story you would want to have. Characters. Well, of course we have the Doctor, Fitz and Angie. They're good as always, really. Well, of course Paul McGann's in this, and he's amazing, like always, as always. Well, well, basically Paul McGann isn't in this because it's a book, but the Eighth Doctor's in it. I guess. I guess you could say Paul McGann. I don't know, but yeah, Fitz and Angie. Yeah, I like them a lot actually. I think Fitz is a really good companion because he's from like the '60s, but and he's sort of he's very quite a unique companion. Yeah, and I really like this subplot about him and Angel Falls. Yeah, Angie. Yeah, I like Angie. She's pretty good. Yeah. Other characters. Well, we have Jasper the cat, Buzz Dog. We have Buzz Dog's little helper guy, who he's like I can't remember. He's like his cousin or something. Yeah, and then we have Streaky Bacon, who's the pig. We have Angel Falls. We have the Weasel. We have the Green Ghost, and they're all really good. And it's like a cartoon logic thing. And I think if you like stuff like that, you like this story quite a lot. Personally, nah, I'm not a big fan of stuff like that, but I did really enjoy this story. Yeah. Other characters, well, we have of course the mouse. We have the woman that like well the cat lives. Yeah. Um, we have well, I think that's about it actually. So for characters, we have some really good characters. Oh yeah, we have the gang from Scooby Doo, just with different names, uh, and of course the Dirty Dog. And yeah, but for characters, they're really good. Yeah. So overall rating, I'm gonna give it. The ending was just so cheesy and really bad, and it's kind of like the all live happily ever after ending. And I wonder if like some other characters died for this book. Um, well, particularly spoiler alert, Bustog's helper, uh, cousin guy, who's like tiny and stuff. He's like a puppy or something. But yeah, I don't know. Does he get resurrected? It doesn't really get revealed. But if he does, then that's so cheesy. But like, it's really cheesy that the mouse is like resurrected. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna give it a 9 because that is really a cheesy ending. It would have been a 10 if it hadn't been for that. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll see you next time for another video.